Hi, Gene Burnett from geneburnett.com. I may be one of your few friends or internet connections who does not have a cell phone, let alone a smart one. I don't like phones, and I don't like what they're doing to our heads and bodies and lives. But I'm not going to argue that point. Because the phones have clearly won. Everybody, every day, all day long, when I'm out in the world, I just see people on their phones. My form of balance between the internet, which I love, I got my computer right here, is that I'm on the net and I'm checking on things and looking at stuff when I'm at home. But when I'm out in the world, I don't. You can't reach me when I'm in the world unless we happen to run into each other. So I just can't imagine having the quality of attention and the quality of health and fitness and awareness that I have right now if I had the internet in my pocket and I was busy checking my emails and messages and stuff all day. But that's a matter of personal taste. Everybody's got to find their own balance with it, I guess. If you don't find a balance with it, well, then your health is just going to suffer and force you to do that. Someday you're going to have a bad case of text neck or text thumb, or you're going to walk in front of a car, or you're going to miss something really important, or there'll be a wake-up call somewhere down the line. Walt Whitman said back in the day, every exaggeration has its revenge in human physiology. So something will catch up with you if you exaggerate anything. I want to talk a little bit about how I feel my analog life, or my non-digital life out in the world, is good for me, is healthy for me. I was just thinking about this the other night. I like to go on walks sometimes at night, and I walk around my town in urban and foresty, rural park settings. I walk around the town, and I think while I walk, and I walk in ways that I think are healthy and physically good for me. So I walk with a real kind of upright awareness and attention to my breathing and my posture and my physical readiness. I walk with attention to all that stuff. And I study how I walk, and I study how I breathe, and I study the world around me, and I look at things, and I take things in, and sometimes I have a little cannabis before one of these walks. I don't like to ever feel like impaired, where I feel like I can't do the basic things that I need to do as a physical human being in the world. I'm a low dose person, but I like to find a window where I use the cannabis to help me get in the flow a little bit more, to help me surrender into what I'm doing a little bit more, to make full participation in what I'm doing a little bit easier. I don't get hammered or impaired. I like to find that zone where if I get a good idea, I can actually remember it, or write it down, or at least remember it long enough to get pen to paper. So I go on these walks, and I'm musing, and I'm practicing, and I'm studying, and I got an idea in my head first. Maybe it was an idea for a video, or it was an idea for a song lyric, or something like, I don't remember what it was, but I got an idea for something, and I'm walking, and I have my backpack with me, and in my backpack I always have scratch paper and pen and stuff, and I was thinking, I got an idea like this, and I was thinking, I want to write this down so I don't forget it. And if you've ever been high, you know that it's real easy to have a thought or an insight or an idea come into your mind and think, oh, I'll remember this for sure, and then 5 minutes later you can't remember it at all, because cannabis elevates your sensory input very high, and things like remembering details and writing hard mental processes like that get a little more in the background. So anyway, I had this idea, and there wasn't any convenient place to stop where I particularly was. It wasn't like I just had a phone in my pocket that I could just pull out, say the idea, and put it in. Yes, that is easier, and if I had the phone, it would have been easier. But easy isn't always easiest isn't always best. So what I had to do is I had to maintain that idea in my mind. I had to hold that idea in my mind. And I had to hold it in my mind long enough for me to get to a place where it was convenient to pull out the pack, unzip the pack, open it up, pull out the paper, and write that idea down. So I had to hold that idea in my mind for 5 minutes until I got to a place where I could do that, which I think is good exercise for my mind. If you never ever have to hold an idea or a thought in your head with intention of remembering it, if you never have to do that, if you've always got the phone there, yeah, sure, that's easier, but is your brain healthier for having it be easier? I think not. I think it's actually healthier for me to have to hold that idea in my mind and, you know, repeat it to myself or let the concept soak in a little bit so I have it on my mind and it's clear and I retain it, and then I sit down and write it down. And then I noticed when I stopped to write it down, like I don't like to pause too much on these walks. I might see a utility box coming up and I think, okay, that's where I'll stop and write this down. I set my thing on the utility box, I unzip it, pull out the thing, write it down, pop it back in there, zip it up, put it on my back, and keep right on going with the whole thing. Might be a 30-second delay in my walk. But I often don't have anything to set it on, so I just, if it's at night especially, I'll just wait till I get to a shady spot on the sidewalk and I'll just set my pack down and I just squat down on the ground, sitting deep into my hips, open up the thing and do that same thing. And I just thought, yeah, you know, not having the recording and phone capacity just in my pocket means I have to be a little more kind of aware of my surroundings and aware of my body, maintaining that idea, sitting myself down, you know, in a nice, you know, a lot of people can't even bend over, let alone, you know, squat down on their haunches and whip, you know, some paper out of their pack. So I get a little bit of exercise out of it. I get a little physical awareness out of it, a little situational awareness out of it. Where's my place to put the pack? And I train my mind a little bit to hold the idea, to hold an idea in my mind long enough for me to be able to write it down, which is a good thing to do whether I'm a little stoned or not. Things like that I really like. In terms of posture, just walking around the world with awareness of what's going on around me, which I think is so important. Certainly it's important to me to be very aware of my surroundings. One thing, for one reason, I have to avoid and work around a lot of people who are on their freaking phones, both on the road driving, I've seen people on bicycles, on skateboards, walking, driving, just pretty absorbed with their phones. To me, y'all are just dead space. I have a purpose. I'm walking, I'm trying to get somewhere. I'm paying attention to my practice. You guys are like, you're the rocks in the stream. You're looking at your phone. You'd be amazed at what you look like when you're on those phones, man. Dead space. Let me tell you. So I'm walking in and out and walking in and around that stuff, and I need to. You know, it forces me in a sense to be aware of my surroundings. And being aware of surroundings is a healthy thing to have going on in your life. There's a lot of things happening that could mess you up that you could easily see coming if you had your eyes open. There was a guy in the bar that I play music in recently who, I might have told this story already on one of my videos, but he was tipsy and he wasn't looking where he was going. He was looking in a camera and he stumbled on the carpet and he bumped into this woman, and then he was going down right in front of me. I was sitting at a bar. There were some tables in front of me and he was going right into that. And I wasn't looking at my phone. I wasn't texting. I wasn't doing anything but just being aware of the room and the music in the room. And I just slipped off my stool, grabbed a hold of him, pressed my center up against his, and just righted him and set him on his way. So I was able to actually help another person because I was aware and wasn't on my phone. So I think in a lot of ways my analog life, or lack of a virtual digital life out in the world, has been really good for me. Good for my posture, good for my breathing, good for situational awareness. Anything that I have to do that's extra because I don't have a phone, I can turn it into a form of training if I do that thing with good posture and awareness and flow. So it keeps me from constantly breaking my day into little chunks of time between looking at the phone, and it keeps me in the flow of things, and I think it contributes to my health in ways that are not abstract, ways that are really concrete. So hopefully my body and mind are getting stronger because I'm out there practicing what I preach on a regular basis, and I don't have a phone to pull my attention away from what's going on internally or externally. So anyway, just sharing that. I'm not saying you should do it, but I'm just putting it out there. Maybe you will do it. My name is Gene Burnett. You can go to geneburnett.com if you like to see more about what I do, or subscribe to this channel. I do music videos, nature videos, lots of Tai Chi related stuff. I have a donation box or a link down below to my PayPal me thing. You can donate a little bit to this cause if you'd like to. I don't have ads on this channel. I never have, and well, actually I have, but I don't intend to ever have them again. I'm just strictly a voluntary donation type outfit here. But no need to donate. You can also just leave me a nice comment or even a critical comment. It's nice to know what people are thinking out there. So thanks for watching. I appreciate it.